Are you ready to talk about what sparks joy? This is for all of my friends who have binge watched Tidying Up on Netflix as quickly as I did. I finished the episodes twice already and I'm not even sorry about it. So today we are talking about how to take the KonMari mindset past your dresser drawers and your kitchen cabinet and into your life and business to help you work brighter and with more joy. Comment below and say hi and tell me whether or not you're familiar with the Marie Kondo method, and tell me one thing that you want to declutter. And if we are just meeting, I am Brittany Berger. I am the founder of Work Brighter, and this is the weekly Brighter broadcast, and it's your 10-15 minute-ish tip to work brighter and live better. So again, let me know who has watched Tidying Up on Netflix, who's actually watched it. And you know what? Also, just let me know which memes you've seen. That might be helpful too. Like, if you've only seen the memes about what she has to say about books, then like we have a lot of re-education to do. For anyone that's not familiar with the show or the book, or who is only familiar with the memes, Marie Kondo is, or her job was, like a consultant, a professional organizer consultant, and she wrote this book, The Magic Art of Tidying Up, to actually serve as like a stopgap because she was like booked out, and selling the book was an alternative to taking on more clients for her. And then there was just like this huge revolution, and now instead of like her taking on clients, there are now KonMari certified professional organizers all over the world. It started as just like her own way of doing things as a professional organizer, and the book came out I think in like 2015, at least here in the US. And the whole premise of the book and of the method and all that is, does it spark joy? And essentially decluttering things around you and in your house to only the things that make you happy. So it is about getting rid of stuff and decluttering and organizing, but because of that spark joy bit, that's what makes it so much more. So today I am talking about how KonMari isn't just an organizational tool, it's a mindset tool. You can use it in your business, in your relationship, in your diet, really anything. It is a mindset that you can apply to anything. And at the end of the day, I like to say that KonMari is just about prioritizing. It is about helping you prioritize what matters to you and what doesn't, like what makes you happy and what doesn't, and what's necessary in your life and what isn't. And so once you start adopting the method of KonMari for organizing your house, it starts to seep into other areas of your life. And I'm speaking from experience because I started reading the book in 2016. 2017 was a phenomenal year of decluttering. I decluttered my day job, but like honestly, that's how I look at it. I decluttered my day job, and yeah, since living and working in a KonMari'd house, I have just really applied it to every area of my life, and it's changed the way that I think about organizing and decluttering, because it teaches you that decluttering is less about getting rid of things and more about making space for things. And so this is where I think that it's really, really relevant to conversations about manifesting, because, you know, manifesting teaches you all, like a lot of different things about making space. So like, for example, you know, having the Post-its during launches for each person that's going to join, or the Being Boss chalkboard method and stuff like that. All of those are based on the principle of making space for things that you want to come into your life. And, you know, if you don't have room, where's it going to go? That it's especially became clear to me with the situation of books, which I can talk about my own specific story with books later. And I know that the whole KonMari book thing has been a hot topic of discussion on the internet. But yeah, at the end of the day, KonMari is what got me to kind of understand making space for things that you want to come to you. That's what KonMari does. So to get into some of my own stories about how I have applied the whole KonMari thing to make space and manifest, go through a few examples. So for example, I have fired clients that don't treat me right and spark joy, and the next month, I was able to launch a new product with the time that I had made and the space that I had cleared for building my own brand. So in July, I fired 2 clients last July, and in August was when I launched and welcomed the first 10 members into the WorkWriter Clubhouse. I could not have launched the Clubhouse in July. Hands down, it would not have happened. I was someone who always very much, in terms of projects and productivity, was always trying to pile as much on my plate as possible. And it was this change of thinking that helped me realize, in order to take on new projects, I need to let go of what does not work and what does not spark joy. Also, let's talk about the whole KonMari book thing, because book nerds are angry at Marie Kondo, and I understand it because they do not know the whole story. So basically, Marie Kondo only owns 30 books, and she shared that somewhere. She decided that that's like the right number of books for her. But people are interpreting that as her saying everyone should only have 30 books, when really she was saying like, oh, I only have a few books and it's 30. That's not a rule that she has ever set in the book or anywhere. So she is all about getting rid of things that don't bring you joy, and that might be a book that you bought and then you read and then you didn't like it, or a book that you never read and decided you're never going to read. And so here is my story with books. I love books. If someone told me you should only have a few books, I would get angry too. But that's not what she's about. She honestly, if you watch the show, she lets people keep so much. There is someone who keeps a garage full of Christmas decorations, and she is fine with that because that was what made the person happy, and that's what KonMari is about, not having 30 books or 30 Christmas decorations. And so for me, when I first read the book, I was actually a book blogger and reviewer. And so I was reading multiple books per week. And I was actually also getting sent a ton of unsolicited books from authors and publishers and publicists and stuff like that. So I would get review copies in the mail. And I was getting like 3 new physical books per week that I did not ask for, that I did not have time to read, that I was not very interested in. I had literally an entire bookshelf of free books that I did not read, but I was keeping them because I identify myself as a book nerd, and I thought, book nerds have to keep all their books. Then once I started going through KonMari and decluttering the apartment, I got rid of all of those books, and I didn't throw them out. I donated them for what it's worth. So I got rid of all those books. And what was I then able to do? I was able to build this cute little writing and work nook that I am sitting in now. I had wanted to have my own workspace, or just a dedicated area of the apartment for working. I had wanted that for years. We've been in this apartment for about 4 years, and I had always just worked on the couch in the same place that, we eat, that we watch TV, the same place that we do everything. I never had a dedicated place for working, and I always wanted that. And it wasn't until I was able to say goodbye to all these books that I didn't read and didn't want and that did not spark joy that I was able to have this desk. And this is just the corner of the apartment that makes me so happy. You can see it's filled with all of these cute flare pins and Kimmy Schmidt prints and cute calendars. And there's the Good Place. It's just, this whole corner makes me so happy. And it used to be filled with books that I was never gonna read. And I still have a ton of books. I still have 2 bookshelves of books over there. So it's not like I only kept 30 books. I have well over 100 still. It helped me define what I wanted in my apartment, get rid of everything else, and then it made space for new, beautiful areas like my WorkWriter nook. And like I said before, I like to say I decluttered my day job. And when I talk about my journey, that in 2017 I made self-care my side hustle. For anyone that's not familiar with my story, at the time I was really, really sick, just constantly flaring with multiple chronic illnesses. And I just was never I had been in a flare for a year. I wasn't coming out of it. And it's because I consistently was not having time to take care of myself and to get rest and to go to all of the doctors that I needed to go to and to do all the treatments and procedures that I needed to do. I kept saying that I did not have time for that, and I didn't have space or room for that in my life, and I kept using that as an excuse to not get healthy. And when my priorities shifted, and I realized that my health needed to be my priority and that I needed to make space for that however I could, and that ended up being relying on my freelance career and the WorkWriter side of things instead of my day job. I loved my day job. It just wasn't working for me, and I realized that through taking a good look at what space I needed to clear. In terms of other ways I've applied the KonMari mindset to just like everything, I cancel software that I don't use instead of continuing to pay the monthly fee. It's so easy now. Like I know a lot of my friends, I actually helped a friend with this a few weeks ago, where we talked through the different software that she was paying for and how often she used it. And we were able to save her about $1,000 a year just by like talking through, looking at what was there and what was actually versus what actually needed to be there, because it's not something that you normally think to do. I also constantly am unfollowing people on social media that don't make me feel good about myself, or, you know, in the case of sometimes it's like a friend in real life, but you know, everyone's social media is a little bit different from the real life, so maybe you mute them on social media or you mute their stories. I am huge on decluttering social media, since, you know, there's a lot of talk about how social media causes anxiety and social media causes these feelings and these feelings and these feelings, and that's not true. Who you follow is what's responsible for that. And if you're following people that make you feel good about yourself, you won't get burnt out by social media. You won't get depressed from social media. You can scroll through your feed and get happier instead of worse. It helps you like ditch marketing tactics that don't work. So I'm not the best example for marketing tactics anyway, since I'm a marketer by trade and education, so I think closely about that. But products. Decluttering products. Over the holidays in November, like my Cyber Week sale, I retired products that selling them does not fit into the overall scheme of things anymore. And so I made space on my website and in my navigation bar to promote new products instead of these ones that weren't as relevant to the WorkWriter brand anymore. Once I read the book, I looked at decluttering and getting rid of things and manifesting in just a whole new way in every area of my life. It helps you really simplify your life and your work and your to-do list and your house and everything, so that you are surrounded by things that make you happy and so that you have space for more things that make you happy. I really loved that, and I know that there's like a ton of, honestly, they're good memes and they're good jokes, you know, kind of dragging the show and the method and all that. And I get them. They're funny. But at the end of the day, they're really off base. And so I just wanted to throw my perspective and my own story into things, since this is something that I have been doing for a while now. And also want to let you know, if you are interested in going on like a decluttering spree in areas besides your apartment, in the WorkWriter Clubhouse, my monthly membership to help you work brighter, I actually have a decluttering challenge, and all of the prompts and exercises that I created are still available to you at any time. So we go through decluttering your computer, which I like to call KonMari your MacBook. Even if you don't use the MacBook, it's just fun alliteration. There's KonMariing your MacBook, your social media, your workspace, and we just go through different areas that you can declutter in order to make space for more awesome, brighter things coming your way. If you're interested in decluttering and sparking joy with us, you can join us.